disappears.
All right. Did someone say I disappeared?
Still, you're still live on my screen.
I did. It's still on the screen. I can get rid of it though.
Oh, okay. It's not on my end then.
No.
Okay.
Good to go.
Perfect.
Good.
There we go. Awesome. Okay, team. Hello. Welcome to another wonderful Tuesday class. So great to see you all. Just a quick reminder that we're going to be saving the bulk of our socializing for rest times and stretch time. We've been doing a really great job. A lot of focus and hard work has been going on. So let's keep that up. And on that note, remember, have a quick look and ask yourself, how is my energy today? And how is my breathing? And based on those two questions, you might need to adapt what you do today. If you're coming in low energy and or struggling to breathe, you're going to have to tone it down a little bit today. You're going to have to pull back, do a little bit less, more rest time. Okay, the goal is to get through the class. And if you're coming in hot, feeling awesome, then you can push a little harder. Okay. All right, you will need, if you've got it, we are going to be using our resistance band today and our weight. So we'll just have those two things ready to go. While we're seated, let's just start off with a couple of breathing exercises to get our oxygen ready to go. Start telling our body we're going to be working harder. So hand on your belly, hand on your chest. We are going to breathe in, filling up our belly first, and then filling up our chest, and then breathing out belly first, then the chest. All right. So breathing in, fill up the belly, then the chest, then breathing out belly, then chest. Remember, breathing out through pursed lips. Breathing in, fill up the belly, then the chest, then breathing out through the belly, then the chest. And again, breathing in, belly, then chest, breathing out, belly, then chest. Once more, belly, chest, breathing out, belly, chest. All right. Now what we're going to do, gang, is I'm going to get you trying to breathe in, if you can, just through your nose as a way of controlling our breathing. If that's not going to work for all of you. So if that doesn't work for you, what I want you to do instead is try to keep a count of a slower, deeper breath. Maybe that's a 2-second inhale and 3-second exhale, maybe a little bit longer, but try to maintain our slow breathing as we start to get our arms moving. So practice it with me, fall into that steady breathing pattern where we are focused on maintaining those deeper breaths, even as it gets challenging to do so while we start to move. So either that nasal breathing in and out through the nose, or that longer breath breathing in, nose or mouth, whatever is best for you, and out through pursed lips. There we go. So we're going to try to go 5 minutes without breaking that pattern. And we're going to do different movements with our arms and legs as we go. Remember to start off slow and steady, gang. We're just telling our body that, okay, it's time to start working. We need the heart rate to go up. We need the blood to get traveling more. We need more oxygen in. That's the point of a warm-up. All right, and now let's just reach one arm across at a time. And you're still maintaining that steady breathing. Excellent job, gang. Maintain that steady breathing. And remembering, if you're coming in low energy or struggling with your breathing or just starting out, feel free to start with 10 reps and then rest your arms, right? Go at your own pace today. Take accountability for what your body is capable of today. All right, we're going to rest those arms. And now I want you just to touch a toe out in front of you. So we're pointing our toes and then bringing that leg back in and then switching. So our toes point, touch, and bring them back in. So lift the foot, point the toes up, bring them back in. Point your toes, bring them back in. Good, so touching our foot in front of us by pointing those toes and maintaining that deeper breathing pattern. Now we're going to start getting into a couple movements that challenge our ability to maintain that steady breathing, but I want you to fight hard to do your best to maintain it. Excellent job, team. All right. So now let's get our arm moving out to the side. In and out. Excellent. And we're going to get our leg crossing over in front as our arm comes out and then uncross. So it's a cross as the arm goes out and uncross. Now, remember, if there's any pain or discomfort or you're just not quite able to cross that foot over, that's okay. Just get your heel to go right in line with those toes and then bring it back. So just cross over as far as your body is capable of. Cross and move that arm to the side. Cross and move that arm out to the side. Maintain that breathing pattern. And again, that oxygen demand is going up. It's going to get harder to keep up our deep breathing. Fight to maintain it if you can. And switch sides. Now our other leg crosses, other arm goes out to the side. There we go. And remember, just do what you can today. I know I've been pushing you guys harder and harder. You've been doing wonderful. Maintain that deeper breathing. You guys have got this. Our goal is 1 more minute. All right, now we're lifting up a knee, pushing out the opposite arm, down and switch. So lift up one knee, push out the opposite arm, down and switch. Lift up a knee, push out the opposite arm. Well done, everybody. Last couple of seconds of maintaining that deep breathing with our movement. And rest. Now breathe however you need to. And sometimes it's quite the struggle to maintain that deep breathing as we work harder and harder, and that's okay. So grab a sip of water if you need it as well. It's a great time for it. And we're going to start getting into a little bit more of that heart and lung demanding exercise. So what we know as aerobic or cardio exercise. So again, I want to remind you that pursed lip breathing, especially if you've got COPD, is going to help get that kind of used up stale air out of your lungs so that there's more room for oxygenated air coming in and will reduce your level of breathlessness. All right, team, we're going to start with some marching. So again, let's try to go. We're going to go for either 30 seconds on working and then 30 seconds of rest. Or if you feel like you can go for that full minute, great. You do that or do whatever you can and keep track of it because we've been tracking these things to track our improvement. So let's start with a march. And just a super quick reminder that I forgot to give at the start of class. Just remember that if you are not on mute, we can hear everything on your end. So if a phone is ringing or if someone comes into the room to chat to you, anything like that, please put yourself on mute. That would be super, super appreciated.
Okay, talk to you later then. Bye-bye.
So remember, the more limbs that are moving, the more oxygen is needed. So if you're struggling today, you're welcome to move just your arms or just your legs. Okay, and that was 30 seconds. So now, if you need that rest, you can either rest fully and recovery breathe, you can keep marching, or you can do in between. If you were full marching for 30 seconds, you can reduce the intensity by just moving either the arms or the legs. So lots of options here, gang.
I'm on Zoom. Call you back. Yeah, bye.
All right, that was 30 seconds. So back to marching. We're going to do 3 sets or 3 rounds of the same exercise, and then we will switch exercises. So just enough for you to get really sick of marching, and then I change it.
That break of 30 seconds seemed shorter than that.
So the break time
I think she makes us
always
work in
seems
between
shorter.
a little bit longer.
That could also be true. I think we're working for a little bit more than 30 seconds. And rest or lower the intensity, or if you're feeling great, you can maintain it. Do what you need to do. Again, if you want to keep up some really light movement, just go into recovery breathing with the arm movements. So that can look like your inhale as you pull the hands apart, exhale as you bring the hands back in. But our short rest is coming to an end in 3, 2, and back marching. And again, if you need a longer rest, that's okay. You got to listen to your body. Excellent job, team. And our work intervals have definitely been more like 40, 45 seconds. So for example, in 3, 2, and 1, that was a real 30 seconds. A little bit shorter.
The other times you give us just make believe, right?
Well, it's called an estimate.
Okay. That's a pretty good word for it.
I think it'd be more like a guesstimate.
Very true. Now our second exercise is coming up. So now what we're doing is we're pulling that leg out to the side and bringing it back in. Okay, give the arms a rest. And remember, if you lift up that leg, the more work it's going to be. So find something that's challenging yet doable for you and go. So we're stepping one leg out to the side at a time. We're maintaining that steady breathing. The higher up you lift that knee, the more work it is, so the more oxygen is needed. Three, two, and one. So again, this can be a full rest. This can be lightly moving the legs. Okay, so do what feels best for you. And if it felt good to just keep going, awesome.
Do you have a suggestion if you're standing? Just do
The
that, okay.
same movement if we're standing, you betcha. Absolutely. Thank you, Rick. 3, 2, and same movement. And if you're standing, you can emulate, again, that same movement, or you can actually move side to side like you're stepping up and over a log. Three, two, and one. So again, we've got that 30 seconds of rest, and it can be recovery breathing, or it can be lower intensity, which means maybe now I'm just slowly moving my legs. And we've got, remember, one more round of that exercise, and then I'm switching it. 3, 2, and go. 30 seconds. Get into that deep breathing, especially as we get a bit tired. It's hard to do, but very, very important. Breathing out through pursed lips. 3, 2, and 1. 30 seconds of either recovery breathing or lower intensity movement. And we've got a new movement coming up. Excellent. So our next movement, gang, is we're going to get our arms reaching up overhead and to the side. Now remember, if that shoulder or neck doesn't like that movement, I want you just reaching across. Okay. And if you're standing, you're welcome to get your legs a little bit involved. So as you reach up, you extend through that leg. Ready and go. And if you're seated and you want more intensity, then you can get that leg shifting to the side with that arm. So many variations, gang. And that helps the whole group, no matter where you're at, just starting out or have been doing this for long enough that you're feeling better and better, that you all leave class feeling energized, mostly, and like you had a great session. and rest. Again, if you want that lighter intensity movement, you can just keep your arms moving. You can do the same movement. Keep breathing out through pursed lips. If you need to go into that recovery position, you're struggling to catch your breath, it's just on your hands on the thighs and bent over at the hips to open up that airway. 3, 2, and go. So we're reaching that arm up. You have the option of touching your leg out to the side as well. There we go. Maintain that breathing. And rest. So again, maybe you're focusing on your recovery breathing. Maybe you want that little bit of movement. Whatever feels best for you, team. All right, we've got one last one with this movement. 3, 2, and go. Keep breathing out through pursed lips, team. And rest. Okay, our next one, we're gonna amp up the ante. We're gonna do sit to stands for 30 seconds, 30 seconds of rest for 3 sets. So what that looks like is you might get 1 sit to stand in, you might get 15 in, or anywhere in between. What I'm gonna challenge you to do is go at a challenging but doable pace for your first set and try to reach your number for the next 2 sets. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so that's the challenge, and that's going to be tricky as we get tired, but that's okay. Remember, if you're not comfortable with standing up, then the goal is, can you push your feet into the ground as if you're going to stand, and can you hold it for 30 seconds? Okay, and if you can't quite meet the 30-second mark, that's okay too. Do what you can. So in I'm waiting for my timer. 3, 2, and go. So you're either standing all the way up, all the way down. Got those 30 seconds. Or your goal is again to shift forward. Your legs are super, super tight. Can we try to hold that for 15 to 30 seconds? Remember, guys, grip the ground with your toes. Clench those glutes to get you up. 3, 2, and rest. Nice work, team. So again, that should have been challenging yet doable for you. Now remember that recovery breathing. Breathing out through pursed lips. Now again, if you needed more of a challenge, there's different ways to increase the challenge. If it's not speed, then you can add resistance. You can hold on to your weight. Okay. 3, 2, and go. So do whatever is challenging yet doable for you. And the goal is, can we do all 3 sets? Maintain that breathing, push through your feet, tighten those glutes. Remember, crushing the walnut between your bum cheeks is a very effective visual that gets those muscles firing. And rest. So remember that recovery position is good for opening up that airway. And if you're out of breath, maybe that slow, deep breathing, the pursed lip breathing looks more like until it starts to slow down. Okay. Good, as long as we're breathing out through that straw. Now, you might need a longer recovery time. If you're feeling good, our last set starts now. Up and down if you can. Remember to tighten those glutes. And otherwise, we're trying to hold for that 30 seconds. Remember, those glutes are tight. Push your feet into the ground. Hold. Those muscles should be fired up and strong. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now, because that's always sit to stands, always take so much energy, we're using all those big muscles in our legs, which need lots and lots of oxygen, and that change of position from the up down can be quite taxing on the lungs as well. We've got a minute rest. So focus on that recovery position. Now is a great opportunity to crack that joke you've been saving in for the first half of the class. Maybe you have a question.
Nobody can speak.
I promise I didn't do that on purpose.
Terry's lost words.
I thought it
Sometimes-
was, what's that?
Did Terry fall asleep?
No.
Must have.
No, he went in the kitchen.
No, he heard 3 sets of sit to stands and he left.
No, he was there for it. I saw him. He put his arms over his chest.
He was doing great.
I have a
Well,
question.
okay, there is a benefit to procrastination. Does everybody know that?
No?
No.
Yeah, that way you've got nothing to
was
do
it.
today and lots to do tomorrow.
There you go. And someone had a question for me.
I do.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
What's the benefit or when you purse out through your lips than doing a nasal one? What's the what medically what happens?
Yeah, medically, so that pursed lip exhale, what's happening, it's mostly beneficial for COPD. In COPD, your bronchioles, those breathing tubes, they get thickened, right? That's the obstruction piece, it gets thickened. And when we pursed lip exhale, it actually pushes back, it adds resistance to prop open or split open our airways so that more, I call it stale air. It's that air in our lungs, we've breathed in, we've used up all the oxygen. Splinting open that airway allows more of it to get out so that there's more room for taking in oxygenated air.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, when there's more of that stale air left in, we're not getting as much oxygen in, and that's what's creating some of that breathlessness.
Okay.
So why can't they replace that tube?
That's a good question. I would think potentially the risk outweighs the benefit
Okay,
until a certain extent, similar to, well, that, you know, they wait for lung replacements until it's absolutely necessary, right? When the benefit outweighs the risk.
okay.
Yeah. And then from a different standpoint, pursed lip breathing actually has a recovery benefit on everybody. So that pursed lip breathing and belly breathing actually helps you activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest digest. You may have heard of your fight or flight getting activated, and then your rest digest getting that nervous system kicked in brings your heart rate down, allows you to breathe slower, lowers your blood pressure.
Okay, that's
So
good.
yeah, super good for your recovery. I even teach that to all my young athletes.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that belly breathing is so important for that recovery, and it's good for everybody. And then there's the extra benefit with the splinting open airways in COPD.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, what a great question. That's awesome.
Thank you.
So Maureen, I'm just going to get us started on our exercise. Or can you park that question for me? I'm going to come back to you. But guys, let's get our resistance band if you have it. And if you don't, you are welcome to use a weight. And we're just going to do some similar intervals with our strength training. So let's get the band around our feet. And we're sitting up tall. And then I want us pulling and relaxing for 30 seconds. And after our 3 sets, Maureen, I'm going to come to you for your question.
Thank you.
Okay, so hold on to it. I love it. Okay, gang, ready and pull. So we're pulling those elbows back, making sure you have a challenging amount of resistance because we're going for 30 seconds. Oops. So a couple ways to make it more intense or more challenging is pulling quicker, pulling more resistance. So maybe you make it tighter. Maybe you have a heavier weight. Okay. But again, it's still got to be doable for you. Pull those elbows back behind you. 3, 2, and rest for 30 seconds. Okay. And again, for you, maybe you keep moving the legs in and out. So you press the knees together and then relax, press the knees together and then relax. That's building some hip strength. Maybe you need to keep pulling that whole time, although I wouldn't recommend it with more of our strength work. All right, we're 3, 2, and go. 30 seconds, pull. Keep up that pursed lip exhale. Good. Think about squeezing those shoulder blades together. Excellent job, team. You're almost there. 3, 2, and rest. So you've got one more round of these. Are we having fun so far?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
So much fun.
Good.
How do you breathe when you're talking like nonstop?
It's a skill. It is. It's similar to singing or playing an instrument or coaching when you're yelling. It's just a different way of, I can't really describe it. I should look up what the anatomy on that is. Last one, gang, and pull.
Because your voice doesn't change, you know, like volume or pauses or any of those things.
Yeah, I think some of it could be not good for someone with a lung issue because some of it is holding that air in. So some of it is more muscle control of the diaphragm and the vocal muscles. And some of it is kind of holding that air in. And I think you might run the risk of trapping air in. And rest. But I should ask Alana about that, actually. It's a great question, Clancy. Okay, so if you need to keep moving, I want you to enter into a gentle march or movement of the arms. We've got a minute of rest, and Maureen had a question.
I was just wondering, sometimes my movements are jerky, and I didn't know if it was because I'm on oxygen. I just wondered how the others that are on oxygen, if they find that some of their movements are jerky.
See?
That's a great question, Maureen. While people kind of ponder that, is there specific movements or all of them?
Well, some of them, when I was moving my left leg, when I was crossing it to the right, back, right, it was very jerky, and sometimes I find it in my hand too. It'll be jerky.
More on the left side?
Yeah, because that's not my strong side. My strong side is my right side.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, obviously there's, because I don't have as much strength, it's, if there is a jerk there, of course, it's going to show up easier. But I just wondered if it was because of my oxygen, like, am I taking in too much or too little or whatever? Or maybe this is a question I should ask my doctor.
You know, especially if it's on the left side, some of that might just be coming from a coordination weakness. So your central nervous system isn't as used to doing movements with that side.
Right.
So if you think about trying to write with your non-dominant hand, and it looks like you've never written before in your life, right? And it has to do with that kind of fine tuning of your nervous system. It's not as used to that movement.
Right. I understand that, but I was just wondering if those on oxygen, if they've noticed that at all. Like, I mean, it's noticeable to me, whereas when I'm not doing exercises, it's still noticeable. I mean, it's not just doing exercises.
Right.
You know, I'm on oxygen. That's Anne, is that right? Hello,
I'm sorry.
is that Anne?
Maureen.
Oh, Maureen. So I'm on oxygen, Maureen. I'm at about 7 liters per minute. I don't personally have any issues like that.
Okay.
That's me.
Okay, and I'm only at 3 liters, so yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yep. And if it's kind of something you're wondering about, always a good thing to bring up to your doctor.
Yeah, I will.
For sure.
Yep. Thanks.
Absolutely. Okay, team, grab your band, put it around your back. Now you do have the option of doing your wall push-ups instead of our chest press, because it is working the same muscle groups. Okay. But for 30 seconds, we are pushing our arms out in front of us and bringing them back. Ready, steady, and go. Push and bring them back. And so remember, it's only 30 seconds of work. And at that 30-second end, you should feel like that was challenging yet doable. So keep up that steady breathing. Breathe out through pursed lips. Excellent. 3, 2, and rest. And again, if you want to just step 1 foot out at a time to keep your body moving, you're more than welcome to, or just focus on that recovery breathing. Excellent job, gang. Couple more seconds of rest. Unless you need more, then you take it. And pushing that band. And I should have said earlier, if you don't have a band, feel free to hold a weight in both hands. And you're just pushing it out in front of you. Same movement. Three, 2, and rest. So get into that recovery breathing. You can lightly keep moving. If that's what you need.
I'm on Zoom. Talk to you later. Bye.
Sterling, you are popular today.
Yeah, and they all know too what time I'm on Zoom.
Geez, hey?
Exactly.
We need a do not disturb function.
They are disturbed.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh.
Last one, team, and push. Good. Keep up that breathing. There we go. Keep up that steady breathing as best you can. 3, 2, and rest. Nice work, team. So that was 3 sets of that one. So now we're going to change up the rotation a little bit. And we're going to do our what's called a tricep press. And so what that looks like, just as a reminder, is one arm is across our body holding the band, and our other arm pulls that band straight down. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to do 30 seconds on one arm. Then we are going to efficiently switch to the other side, 30 seconds. And then you are either going to do your recovery breathing or you're going to march.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
All right, so set yourself up. Arm across the body. I will actually turn sideways for this. Sitting up tall and go. Pulling that arm straight down. So we're moving just from the elbow, and it's not a jerky movement. Try to keep it controlled. Keep up that breathing.
Your band is doubled. Does that make the intensity twice as much?
It does.
Yeah.
And that was 30 seconds. Switch right away. And I have a fairly light band just because I teach so many classes. And I find with this one, it gets a little bit too long and in my way. But yes, that is a way of increasing the intensity of your resistance, is you can double up the band. And some movements, you might find some movements that works great for and others not. And that just has to do with different muscles. Great job, team. Keep up that breathing. Good. We've got 3, 2, and 1. So you're either doing your recovery breathing or you can march. And we're going to do 3 rounds of that today, guys.
Oh,
Oh.
What did he say?
He just went, oh. That was perfect. Oh boy. Well, you'll be happy to know, Barry, we've got 3, 2, and set it up. We're doing that tricep press. Pull it down. Remember to sit up tall. The movement is coming from your elbow, and it's pulling that band straight down. And switch. So we're switching sides and pull. Remember our pursed lip breathing, gang. And remember to do what you can. Three, 2, and 1. Now you do your recovery breathing or your marching. Whatever feels best for you. You got to listen to your body. Now the great news, gang.
Everybody's saying.
Well,
I don't listen to that bugger anyway.
you gotta parse through what the real communication is. Kind of like a kid learning that just because they're hungry, they can't eat sweets.
Well, I never learned that.
Their belly actually really wants healthy food. It's their brain that wants the sugar. And we got our last set, gang. So grab that band, hold it across your body, and pull it down. Good. So pulling that elbow straight down. This is our last round. I promise. Keep up the breathing. All right, and we are switching sides. So again, that one hand holds across our body. The other hand is pulling the band straight down. Great work, team. Maintain that breathing. Three, two, and rest. Put that band to the side. Do your recovery breathing, or you can start marching while you get into that steady breath. Remember to do what you can. All right, gang, what we're gonna do is, because I feel like I've worked you quite hard today. How's
Yes, you
everybody
have.
feeling?
Yes, you have.
Yes.
You'll get us toned.
Well, the positives here are that I recognize things like that, so that's good.
Good.
So we're gonna march for another minute, and then we're gonna do a slightly longer, by about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, slightly longer mobility and stretching. And we're gonna review the exercises we worked on last week, which you still need to receive. And remember, that stuff is really good for helping open up letting your rib cage move and allow you to breathe in better. So you're either marching for another 20 seconds or you are just focused on your recovery breathing. Whatever feels best for you. Three, two, and rest. Nice work, team. That was awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now let's again get that upper back, which is called your thoracic spine, where your rib cage attaches to. Let's get that area of our body moving better. So you're going to take one hand. Remember, this is the slick the hair back for those of you that were there at the session last Wednesday. So you reach up that arm, keep that elbow tucked in, and try to touch kind of thumb to shoulder just behind you. And then switch arms. Again, with that elbow up, and it's just like you're slicking your hair back. And if that feels super easy, then you can lift up that arm. But the straighter that arm is, the longer lever it is. So if you've got a sore shoulder or neck, it's important to bend the elbow so that you have a shorter lever. So pull that elbow up. And remember, all this stuff is slow and controlled because the goal is, well, after a couple, can I reach further back? But you won't get to that point if you're moving really quickly. All right, so now let's reach across our bodies, like you're patting yourself on the back. And remember, if that gets pinchy at the front of the shoulder, instead of lifting it up and back, just reach across and pat yourself on the outside of your shoulder. So either reaching across the chest for a sore, pinchy shoulder, or up and back. And again, can we reach a little bit further each time? So maintain that breathing pattern, gang. Go slow. Because remember, this is also about getting into our recovery state, lowering the heart rate, lowering our blood pressure. If we're still focused on go, 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 then that's not going to happen. All right, hands on the belly. And let's just open up our palms to the ceiling, and we're just going to pull those thumbs back, remembering to keep those elbows tucked in. If we drift them apart, then we're not getting the same benefit. So pull those thumbs back, let the chest come forward and back. Pull the thumbs apart, let the chest come forward and back. Pull the thumbs apart, chest forward and back. Great job, everybody. And again, we're trying to get an increase in mobility. So you should be getting a little bit of a stretch here. That's why we go slower.
Across the back, Jill?
Yeah, so if you feel that kind of tightness across the back, that's actually good. Those are those muscles between your shoulder blades and on the back of your shoulder pulling your arms open.
Right.
And that means those muscles are getting stronger, which is great because that's going to help you open up through the chest.
Great. Perfect.
Yeah. So either you feel some tightness in the back, which means those muscles are working hard at getting stronger, or you might feel some tightness or stretching across the front, and those chest muscles are getting a stretch. So either or both of those sensations is a good thing.
Great.
Great question. All right. Shake out those arms. Now, stretch out that leg in front of you, and we're slowly reaching down. Remember, keep your chest up and try to hinge from the hips rather than slumping through the back. And we're keeping up that steady breathing. And remember, now is the time, if you've got other questions or comments or jokes, now is the prime time to do that while we're stretching and have that
So
longer
Jill,
bit of
I do
time.
have a
Speaking
question.
about candy, I went to the store the other day and bought all kinds of vegan stuff. Then I opened the fridge to get a snack, and there's none good to eat.
Switch legs.
I laughed at your coffee ice cream, and on Mother's Day came 2 containers. The coffee, and the dark chocolate, etc. Right? So, of course, I had to get into it. I've never seen ice cream so frozen that was. But I don't give up on ice cream. I got out a sharp knife and I saw my way through the pieces. I had a
Yes, Clancy.
You really wanted some ice cream.
Well, I always do. I mean, but you talked to us about eating healthy, you know, and then on the side for breakfast, you eat ice cream. I couldn't believe it.
Me for breakfast?
Absolutely. Yep.
No.
Uh-huh.
No.
You wanted
Drop
your
one
coffee.
leg.
You wanted
Drop
your
one
coffee
leg
so
back.
bad you took the substitute of
Well,
the
it's
ice
dairy, you gotta have it.
Well, I would argue that putting a little bit of ice cream in my morning coffee, which was a fantastic treat, by the way, I highly recommend it.
It'll
I
add-
also had a full breakfast.
Uh-huh.
I didn't have breakfast or ice cream as my breakfast.
And as the second one, at the second time, what'd you have?
For my breakfast,
No, for your ice cream breakfast.
I promise you, I have never had just ice cream for breakfast. And that's because I am a breakfast person. Like I'm the kind of person that if I don't eat in the morning, I am not good the rest of the day.
Look out.
You get
Yeah.
hungry.
Oh yeah, it's bad. Switch legs, gang. I'm one of those hangry people. And that usually actually has to do with your blood sugar, how quickly your blood sugar can spike and drop. So I have to be careful with how much sugar I have all in one sitting because it'll spike me really quick. And then I'll be really hungry and irritable.
Not you.
Just an example of your
And
good
if I don't
breakfast.
have breakfast, I get a headache that won't go away the rest of the day.
Oh,
Oh yeah. So I'm a breakfast person.
So when do you have the most ice cream?
that guy's-
After a soccer game.
Mhm.
Especially if you get a win. It's a double scoop.
That's right.
That's
right.
And you get the,
And then if you lose, it's a triple scoop because you kind of need to console yourself with the loss.
That's right.
that's how it gives the endorphins, doesn't it? It boosts them?
Yep. If you enjoy ice cream, then eating it will give you an endorphin boost. Yes.
Mhm.
Relax that leg. We're now just going to reach one arm down. And if you're able to comfortably reach the other up.
Can you tell me how many times I said I'm on Zoom?
Jill, I do have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
I sure can.
So I'm wondering, what is it about the physiology of the lung that when you lean over, so lean over forward, for me, it just shuts down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
So often what's happening there is that your rib cage is compressing. So
diaphragm?
slowly switch sides, gang. So you guys switch sides, and I'm gonna move closer to the camera to give you an example. Let's see
I
if I
thought
can
you
sort.
switched your diaphragm too.
So as you lean forward, what often happens is that upper back rounds.
Mhm.
And as soon as that upper back is slumped or rounded, it's harder to take that breath in. Okay, and that's why I always encourage you guys to keep your chest up. And if we lean forward, it's coming from the hips, but the chest is still up. And you can try it yourself. Like if you guys go into a little bit of a slump and then try to take a breath in or round your shoulders in, it's hard.
Hard to do.
Sloppy
And-
posture. Keeping
Yeah.
your back straight is good posture.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and so that's part of the reason. Another part of the reason though is when you bend low, it's creating, I want to be careful with my words because I don't want to, it kind of creates a low pressure system. And there's changes to your blood pressure, which make it all more challenging. So similar to people with low blood pressure have a really tough time getting down and up or bending over to pick something up.
Mhm.
So from a breathing perspective, some of it is that tightness in the back, limiting that full breath and limiting your lungs' ability to expand. And some of it has to do with your blood pressure.
But isn't that bending forward that way also being affected by the what do you call it, beneath the stomach,
Your diaphragm.
the diaphragm.
That's right.
It's
right.
blocking the ability of the diaphragm, isn't it?
Yes, when you're slumped over.
Yeah.
For your pursed lip breathing there would be to really inhale and then do pursed lip breathing as we bent over, right? Is that right?
Yeah, and focus on keeping your chest up. So actually, we're gonna get into this more tomorrow during our
Oh.
education session.
That sounds ominous.
Yeah, so we'll get more into that tomorrow and we'll talk a little bit more about intensity and what that
Great
means for you.
segue.
And I'll get those shoulder exercises to you guys today.
Thanks, Jill.
I said in a shorter time frame than the toe exercises, and I'm still doing good on that front. I have at least another 24 to 48 hours before I'm really behind.
Well, as you say, you're doing awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Janet. I really appreciate that. And it's so wonderful getting together with this group, 3 times a week. It is a fantastic, fantastic experience. It's the highlight of my day.